Hello everyone, my name is Natil Sylvia and I would like to welcome you back to my channel. We are continuing my tour of my project archives. I believe where we last left off was me talking about the races on Anvir, the hominids. Let's see if I can find it. Oh wait. Yep. We are on the hominids. I had just finished going over this little document here, talking about Novans, Ingel, Alcandrins, humans, Vossfolk, and Werefolk. And I believe, let's see, I'm just going to go ahead and continue on with what I have so far in the archives, and just, giving my commentary and thoughts. Over time, there will be more information development happening and being added to these archives. When that happens, I'll cover them as well. So while things do look a little bare bones, I do promise that I have so much information about my world and my stories and characters. They're all just still in private development, and once I get that all done and refined, I'll go ahead and post it on the public archives and whatnot for everyone to see. See, I'm not sure if there's much in these two folders, the Ingel and the Werefolk folders. Let's see. And it's just a gallery here. Oh, Inedi, I believe you're one of my NPCs. Inedi, aka Clarity, yep. You appear to be an Ingel, an Eastern Chanting Goshawk, which is a native bird to Ethiopia. So this would be, this guy would be the equivalent of Ethiopian. Let's see, yep. I think that's also the case with my Werefolk folder here. I don't have, I do have some information on the Werefolk. Okay. Let's see, I do want to just show off some characters that we have here in the gallery. We have Cassette here. Looks to be a Were Chilean Myotis. That's a bat. I guess I will be renaming Were Chilean to Were Zugunian, since now I know what the Anvirian equivalent to Chile is. So this looks to be, I'm thinking 80s, 90s. Another background character, not someone that has too much prominence in stories. I think they're literally just going to appear in the background. Casey, aka Cassette. I think I wanted to give them one of those box stereos, the boom box. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, this is Margaret. Yes, this is Margaret Mal Grimalkin, another background character that I have yet to make digital and colored, but here goes the base design for her. Let's see. Yep, there we go. Another drawing of Margaret. Very nice. Oh, I believe Margaret is a werecat. Yes. One thing I didn't mention. Okay. I know I said in the previous video that werefolk can be any animal in the their counterpart or feature can be any animal or species from the Animalia kingdom. So we have were bats, were cats, were foxes. I have a few were foxes. So there can also be were fish, were birds, that sort of thing, were lizards. I have several rare snakes. So this character here, Miss Monarda, is a werebee. You're going to see that she doesn't have wings traditionally as a bee. So this is a good example of where the animal counterpart would have wings, but the were again doesn't. They can't fly. Instead, we kind of see what can be implied as wings or wing growths around the arms here, but due to the structure of the skeleton and whatnot, this is fantasy, but still, due to the structure of the werefolk, they cannot fly. This was an old draft of Miss Mornarda. As you can see, we used to have wings, but I've now changed that to be fitting to the setting of Anvir. This is another example. We have Pana Pavo, Miss Pavo. She is a were-peacock. So we're gonna see that she has like the nice tail feathers of a peacock. She's from the central southwest on Anvir, and we see that she does have, beautiful tail feathers, but she doesn't have actual like wings like an Ingel would have. And so this is what she looks like during the crescent moon right here. Yeah, crescent moon. This is what she would look like during a full moon. So she's taller and looks pretty much just like a bird person. we see that the face has become elongated to look more like a beak. The ears have gotten longer and are feathered. Her hair, we see during the crescent moon, her hair is just like a human's, like our hair. But during the full moon, it's actually like cascading feathers, long feathers that flow. And we also see that the tail is also longer. And it looks like she is an errand runner for the inner compass. I know that term probably won't mean you don't. Those listening and watching from chronologically, you guys don't really know what the inner compass is, and that's okay. I will be getting to that in another video. Again, I'm trying to keep these videos 30 to 45 minutes. I will ramble. It's all very organic. It's literally whatever comes to mind I will talk about. Let's see. Oh, Pecan Karya. You are a were-raccoon. So yes, so we got the raccoon ears, raccoon tail. This is what they would look like during the crescent moon. I draw a lot of crescent moon. It's the easiest for me to draw. One day I'll draw like a half moon werefolk. So this is a background character from Project E. We're not gonna see, not too much of Pecan, but just a background character. And then here we have werefolk naming conventions. I will have naming conventions for all the races. I just have the werefolks done first. So if you have a northern werefolk, and this just like serves a guide for like anyone that wants to make their own werefolk. I'm trying to design Anvir, and everything on it to be so that people can easily make their own fan characters if they want. I've already have amazing folks that have made their own fan characters for my realm, my settings, my stories, and it's very, very beautiful. I love it. So these documents help me make sure that I'm within lore, canon compliant, and it also, serves as a guideline for those that want to make their own Anvirians. So the werefolk naming conventions, if you have a werefolk that's from the north, first name, no double consonants, and it has an apostrophe followed by a double vowel, typically at the end. Last name could be a feature from their Animalia counterpart or derived from the Animalia scientific name. We have some examples here. Olivia Frater. Frater coming from Fratercula, a werepuffin. Fratercula is part of the scientific name of the puffin, if I remember correctly. We also have Alice Hopper, a werefrog. Hopper because, frogs hop. And we have, if you have a werefolk from the east, you can expect their name to be like this. First name, it follows an A-B-B syllable pattern. Last name follows a C-D syllable pattern, with D often having double consonants. Examples: Komimi Zuta, Akiki Nami, Yulili Roshi, Eolulu Kauai. If you have a werefolk from the south, their first name will always start with a consonant followed by an apostrophe. Last name is tied to the Animalia counterpart. So we have some examples being Zamia. We see that apostrophe after the Z. Zamia Kitan, werecat. Kitan sounding is similar to the word kitten. And then we also have Pana Pavo, who is a were-peacock, pavo being Latin for peafowl. And we see that apostrophe after the P in Pana. Likewise, if we go back to the north, we're going to see that apostrophe before the double I's in Olivia and Ellis. And then finally, we have the Western werefolk. A double letter, usually a consonant, must be present in the name, either in the first or last name, though it is often found in both. Their first name is often a type of edible plant or is related to taste or a type of food. Last name, which is optional, it is derived from a plant, may be a plant part or the plant's scientific name. So we have a few examples. Asiago, coming from cheese. We also have the double G in Asiago, honey branch. So honey, is a type of food. Branch is part of a plant. And we also see that the N in honey branch is doubled. We also have bitterroot rediviva. Rediviva comes from the scientific name of the bitterroot plant itself, Luisia rediviva. And then the next couple examples are just first name, no last name. We have pepperjack, that's name. We also have cheddar, name of a werefolk. And this next one is a fan, made by a fan. Paprika capsicum being the genus of peppers. I also believe, let's see. Ulili Roshi and Aolu Kawai are also fan names. Let's see, yep. And then we have the possibilities of intercardinal names. So as you notice, we have north, south, east, west. So what if we have someone that's born, a werefolk that's from the northeast and whatnot? Werefolk born in the intercardinals, northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest, are given a name that is a combination of the cardinal naming conventions. Pana Pavo is an example of a southwestern name, as Pana also means cream and fulfills the double letter requirement found in western names. So that's a good example of if you had someone that's in between the cardinal regions. So that's what I have for the werefolk so far, and a little bit of the Ingel. Again, we go back to the Ingel. We're going to see that Inedi here does have wings, and is capable of flying. And in due time, I'll be adding more and more about the other hominids, like Novans, Alcandrins, humans, yes, even humans, and the Phosfolk. And yep, it's just time and development, writing everything down, drawing everything down. So I believe that's it about the hominids. I could explore the old and outdated work, but I think I'm gonna leave that for a different video where I cover all the old and outdated work of Anvir in my stories, because I just want to focus on what's current for now and establish what is current canon before I go back and be like, oh yeah, so this is what used to happen and whatnot. Also how the Aerovans. The Aerovans are a family of bounty hunters on Anvir. They're very prominent. They're really highly respected. All throughout Anvir, they work very closely with the Inner Compass. Good relations with librarians. Many of them are librarians. There's a significance to being a librarian in Anvir. I'll cover that in a different video. But yeah, Aerovans, very prominent bounty hunters. Very well-known and successful bounty hunters. If any criminal finds out they're an Aerovan is hunting them down, it's over. they got you. They're going to get you no matter what. So we have, let's see, Pyron Aerovan. He is a major character in a couple of my stories, I believe. Project G and Project H. Looks like he just finished slaying something, perhaps a monster. Good for him. We also have Tyron Aerovan, which is the brother to Pyron Aerovan. Again, this is blood family. Um, yep, this little guy. He appears in Project H. That's it for the Aravans. We're also moving, so we're going to move on to the Crescent Knights. If you guys ever have any questions about these guys, again, everything's pretty bare bones, but I hold all the knowledge. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below, and I will be sure to answer them in the next video, whenever that may be, because I love answering questions, and I love talking about my stuff. I can ramble for hours, and I will. But now we're going over to the Crescent Knights. Again, I'm just covering what's in the files right now. Again, as more things get added, I'll cover them once they're present. So we have the Crescent Knights. If you remember, Knights are those that protect or guard something, an object, a person, maybe, if you remember that from my last video. The Crescent Knights are a group of knights that are protecting a set of weapons that serve as their signature weapons, but it's also their duty to protect the weapons that they have, the weapons that they use from falling into the wrong hands, because their weapons are of legendary origin. They hold like great power, so they're it's like great enough power to cause Anvir to enter like a period of like disarray and chaos if these weapons ever fall into the wrong hands. So we're gonna go over to the gallery. We had the medallions, the Crescent Knight medallions. This piece visual was sponsored by Hopeful Zero, so thank you so much for sponsoring me. You can sponsor me in my personal work through my Ko-fi, which is in the link in the description below. But the Crescent Knights, there are 6 of them, and they are denoted, or they have these medallions that serve as a symbol, like, oh yes, I am a Crescent Knight, and each medallion corresponds to an element, to the element of the weapon that the Crescent Knight has. So we have the water Crescent Knight, earth, air, plant, ice, and fire with their corresponding colors. So if you see someone with like the medallion, like the air medallion, that's the air Crescent Knight. They are guarding the air weapon. They have the air weapon. That's what they use, and they're guarding it, and they're trying to keep it from falling into the wrong hands. And then we have art by other folks. I'm more than happy to show off fan art. Love it, love it, love it. And of course, any art that's not mine that is up here, I've always asked the artist, hey, can I put this on my archives? And I always give them credit. Typically through the name of the folder that they're in. So this is by Rainy Noise. So this is one of the Crescent Knights. Her name is Mother. She's also people do call her the Siren Queen, but her proper name is Mother. She is found in the Siren's Triangle, in one of Anvir's oceans. She's a siren, big old lady. She guards the water weapon, which is a spear. We can see it in her hair alongside with her medallion. So this medallion would be blue, and that would be the spear. I haven't designed the weapons yet, so we kind of just have placeholder designs here. This would be the Earth Knight. Yep. Concept by Rainy Noise. I believe there goes a medallion right on their chest right there. And they would be, as you can see here, they have the hammer and shield. The Earth weapon is a hammer and shield combo. I believe that's it for now. Let's see. Yep, that's all I have to say for now about the Crescent Knights, as per according to the information in the folders here. And now we have the Fae. If you remember, I believe 1 or 2 videos ago, I mentioned that the Fae are the natural predators of hominids, so this is the folder about the Fae. Overview of the Fae on Anvir. What are Fae? They are characterized as highly intelligent beings made of pure nature and magic. as opposed to hominids who are highly intelligent beings made out of flesh, bone, and blood. So Fae are not hominids, though they often choose to make their appearance though they often choose to make their perceived appearance look similar to hominids, so they can disguise themselves to look like Ingal humans, werefolk, fosfolk, like any hominid. They can look similar, if not exactly. Typically not, like, they can get really close, but there's always something that's a little off about their appearance that can, sharp eyes can seem like, oh, wait a minute, you're a little weird. What the heck, what's going on with you? And another thing about that is that the Fae alter how people perceive them. And the best example of that is if you have person A, they might see the Fae a certain, like a human. But for person B, they could look at that same Fae, but perceive it as an Ingel because that's what their eye, like that's what the Fae looks like to them. And the Fae can control that. So that's something sneaky about them. True forms of Fae are rarely seen, often being incomprehensible to hominids when actually revealed. So if you see the true form of a Fae, like this is not some perception illusion, this is the true form of the Fae, and a hominid is unfortunate to see that, they kind of just lose their mind. The point of no return, it's like so incomprehensible, like they go mad if they see the true form of a Fae. So Fae are formed from high concentrations of natural essence or nature. They are born typically of fire, water, air, earth, plant, ice, etc., etc. Like we can have a lightning Fae that was formed from a burst of lightning. Elements of nature. Fae typically die once their own energy dwindles and fades away naturally. Otherwise, they can only be harmed and killed by exposure to iron. There is no other way to hurt or kill a Fae other than using iron. So like swordsmen of iron blades, iron gloves, crushing them. Just pure exposure to iron. Of course, the stronger the Fae, the more iron you kind of have to expose them to. But that's the only way to really defeat a Fae. And as I mentioned before, Fae are the natural predators to hominids. The strength of a Fae is dependent on how much hominid blood they've consumed. So the more blood that the Fae eats, the stronger they get. More information is coming soon. This was last edited on December 25th, 2025. So again, everything's still a work in progress. When more things get added, I'll cover it. So that was a general overview of the Fae. I'm going to go ahead and go gallery. First and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and skip over the art by other people. I'm going to go straight into my art. So we're going to have a few sketches of Fae. This is what they look like, at least on pencil and paper. Little guys. And like they can vary by size. Again, their whole thing is like they can change how they're perceived, how their form and whatnot. So Fae can be as small as your thumb, even smaller than that, or like as big as trees. This is an example of a water Fae. All Fae will have the same eyes. They all have the same eyes. They have that blue, the green to yellow eyes, and they always have black diamond pupils. So that's a surefire way to tell if you're talking to a Fae or not. Typically, especially like for disguised Fae, they like to have their eyes closed. Because the moment they open their eyes, you can be like, oh, you are not a hominid and you're probably trying to eat me. But yeah, this is Dew. This is the Weaver of Dew. This is their prominent character in Project F and H so far. They are the assistant to the Witch Horo, the Fey Witch Horo. Yeah, a little water Fae. I was gonna say something, but I completely forgot. If it was important to me, If it was important, it'll come back to me. If not, it wasn't meant to be. Man, little Fae right here, little water Fae. And then we're gonna move on to the King Titanias. Oh, that's what I was about to say. All of my Fae go by they and it. They have no concept of sex or gender because, you know, they're made by, they just pop out of pure concentrations of magic. They also cannot recognize or understand emotions like we do, like hominids do. So like the concept of love is very like foreign to them. The Fae really only care about the now. They don't care about the past or the future. It's all about now, and they only care about themselves. Typically, typically. They believe in being fair, but I'll get to that. My Fae can never lie. They can twist the truth and twist words, but they never lie. They love titles. So the Weaver of Dew, that was just a title. That is not their name. That is not that Fae's true name. Knowing a Fae's true name is dangerous for the Fae or just dangerous in general. Like if you even know someone's true name, you can kind of just make them do whatever you want. So specifically the Fae, they're just like, you're not gonna know my true name. So 99% of the time, with Fae, whatever you know them as, that's a title. That is not their name. So the Weaver of Dew, that's a title. Likewise with the King Titanias. The King Titanias, there's 6 of them. King Titania is just a title. It is not their actual name. And for the king, they're typically regarded as the strongest Fae at that time. There's no royalty connected to being a King Titania. Like most other Fae, like all Fae, like they don't care. Like they only care because again, they're just the most powerful Fae, but all the other Fae kind of just treat them like any other. The title of King Titania really only matters to hominids, because again, that's the strongest Fae, the most notorious Fae at the time, the one that is most successful in hunting and devouring hominids. So, no real power. It's just a title. So we have the Earth Fae. Some of these folders are empty. I have yet to design the Earth Fae. We do have the Water Fae here, King Titania II. This is what they look like. Some sketches about them. They are one of my most favorite designs. I know at first their design does not scream water, but I did base their design off of koi. So we see that their body is spotted like a koi's, and their color scheme is based off of a koi's. And even their hair, I specifically modeled their hair to be based off of the shape of glowworm beads. Because their whole deal, if you know what a glowworm is, they essentially are like, they kind of like use their string, like sticky globs on like their web to capture prey, as if like, and these sticky strings kind of hang like fishing lines. This King Titania is known as disguising itself as a hominid and luring people out, to lure people out, and eat them. Their disguise, one of their disguises is known as the angler, where they look like a hominid and they go out and fish. So there's that whole motif with them, with this Titania here. Then we have the Ice Fae, just sketches for now. This is the Ice King Titania III. Layered heavily, dressed to show how thin it is. Torn fabric, raggedy wings. I don't think this one, it can fly, but it prefers not to. Very sleepy, moves like a ghost. This one is a very sad Titania. They cry all the time. Here goes another sketch of them. So yes, this is King Titania III, aka the Ice Titania. I forgot to mention the Titanias. They do have a medallion. They have the plant medallion. The plant weapon being an axe. Typically, it's an axe. So, and we have King Titania the Fourth, which is fire. We get to see like the eyes. Here we see the eyes, the same Fey eyes. We also see this one having the medallion. Very, very fun design right here. They're based off of butterflies. And then we have King Titania the Fifth, which is the plant. Very based off of a rose and satyr, deer. I love them. This is the first Titania that I designed. And this is their hominid disguise. They try to appear like a weredeer, and they go by the gardener. So they like to appear with their garden, or either in their garden or out and about trying to sell their flowers. They can grow any flower. Typically, and they'll try to sell a hominid favorite flower. Like, here, I have this. I know you like this. Actually, I don't know. Here you go. This happens to be your favorite, right? Here you go. And as we can see here that their eyes are closed, this is typically what they'll look like to strangers and whatnot. But if they open them, we see obviously Fey eyes right here. Let's see. Then finally we have air. I don't have anything on air, but they're also known as Twin Tanya. All of my Fae, so non-air Fae will never have wings. The only Fae that will have wings are air Fae, except in the case of when a Fae becomes the King Titania, they will gain a pair of wings. So we do see here that that King Titania II has wings, but prior to being the king, this sketch here is what they look like before becoming king. They don't have any wings. So once they got that title, they gain wings and the ability to fly. With the case of the Air Titania, they gain an additional pair of wings, so they have 4 wings because Air Fae always have a pair of wings to allow them to fly. Let's see. Again, I'm not. Maybe I will. Let's see what's in the old outdated work. Yes. I will go through this folder. This was the first ever concept of King Titania that I came up with. This was supposed to be King Titania the 5th, but very vastly different outcome. And the outcome I definitely do enjoy more than whatever this first sketch was. This is a concept for Titania the 3rd. Titania the 4th. The 4th Titania. Yes, there we go. Sorry, I didn't realize it was in the name of the file. It's a very, very similar concept compared to the final design. This one felt a little too plain, and I just went back and it's like, okay, hammered in what I wanted them to look like. So this is what King Titania the 5th, one of their first concepts, before I really figured out what I wanted them to look like. Blue, pastel and whatnot. A lot more just general flower instead of being a rose. We don't really have that much of like the deer satyr motif going on besides the horns and the not even the ears. It's just we're missing a lot of the final design here. Vastly different in my opinion. This is where I started to get closer with their final design for King Titania the 5th. decided to make their wings feathered, but not leaf-like just yet. I like the rose dress. This is where we see the rose dress, and then the vines. Yeah, we had the vines, the thorny vines, just a bit more defined. And also we get to see where I changed the placement of the horns. Like now they're right directly besides the ears instead of coming out from the top of the head. Little small sketch with King Titania V with Selene here in Project H. Another early sketch of King Titania V here. Get to see in this top right corner that they are inspired by the characters in Final Fantasy XIV. That's an MMORPG online. Another sketch of them, and then we have a bottom sketch with color, with them being Maleficent inspired. We do see that red dress, black wings, and we also see like a bit more like of the rose motif here. But all in all, I enjoy seeing how they turned out finally, because I definitely enjoyed this final and current canon, like this is currently what's canon design of layers. See, very satyr, very deer. We still maintain like that heavy, rose motif. And I think what I'm most proud of is their wings being leaves now instead of feathers, to really fit with that whole plant rose, because they are a plant fae. And let's see, I have about 10 more minutes, so I can go ahead and look at the art by other people. It's just by Rainy Noise. This actually is King Titania VI concept that Rainy did draw. And then this is one of King Titania V's forms. So how they can be perceived. They can be perceived like this deer creature, multiple, like 6 limbs. We get to see their gnarly wings. Those, of course, those fey eyes, that sinister smile. Love it, love it, love it. And we also do see that plant medallion, plant crescent knight medallion that they have right around their chest. Very nice, very nice. And then Rainy did have a good hand in helping me decide the design of King Titania V. So some little concept sketches from Rainy. And this helped solidify the satyr deer features further, which is, I think, very key and crucial to their design. So it's very, very amazing help, great help Rainy has been. They're essentially like my co-artist / assistant when making all this. Of course, I am the artist, I am the author, but they do assist me in, figuring out plot and art and design, and I would not be here without them. All their help means so much to me. I can go on and on about what they mean to me, but I'm a little short on time, and there's going to be plenty more times where you're going to see their art in these folders here. Just love it, love it, love it. It means so much to me. So this next folder, the Pershiki Goi, it's an AU between me and Rainy. It is, again, not canon. Not canon. This is just us having fun with our characters. This is a ship. This is a ship between Rainy Noise's Percy Taylor and my King Titania II. So that's the water one. And these lovely, lovely sketches of these two. They are so in love. I can talk about, their whole dynamic. Little quick crash course. King Titania II was disguised as a human. Took out Percy to the sea under the guise of, let's go fishing together. And then Percy is over here being like, dang, you're beautiful. For lack of better wording. And of course, King Titania being King Titania, like, deep down is like, oh yeah, I'm about to eat you. But they notice how Percy is like staring at them and being all blushy, and like they kind of play into it. Of course, Faye being Faye is like, your love doesn't mean anything to me, but I'll play into it. And then, so King Titania II is noticing how Percy is looking at them, and they're like, "Oh, you catching some feelings for me? You have a little crush. Let's kiss." Planning on using the kiss as like the final nail in the coffin to get them to eat Percy. But when they do kiss, it starts off as a normal kiss, and then King Titania II bites Percy's lip. But like he's into it. And then they're like, "Oh, I'm actually kind of into it," and it kind of just that's like it's the catalyst of their very sweet semi-gradual falling for each other. Of course, time does pass between them. The King Titania II doesn't decide to eat Percy right then and there. They kind of just like, okay, hold on, let me, you can amuse me, but so they don't eat him, and they decide to spend more time with him to be like, oh, you're, look at you admiring me and whatnot, he he he. But over time, like they start to catch feelings, and they're like, oh, yeah, I like you. So they spend a lot of their time. This is the interaction right here. The first kiss into the bite. They're both into it. They match each other's freak. Cries. I love them. I'm not sure if you can tell. Man, they spend time together. And then they both just fall in love and care about each other very, very much. They get married. I love it. They get married, and then that's so much PDA. They just love each other. Look at this. Look at all this. Like they're feeding each other. Of course, King Titania II, feeds off of Percy's blood, and then here they are giving him a sandwich, and then we're kissing. Yay! They're so beautiful together. Look at them. Wow. Okay. And that's about it for the Fae folder. Last but not least, we have the Hitcharans. The Hitcharans are a family of notorious thieves. They've been around since the Beacon era, started the Beacon era. They're very prominent. Just notorious thieves. Big family clan. You can tell that they're Hitcharan because using Peppermint Hitchara here as an example, all Hitcharans will have this specific silver colored hair and this specific colored of gold eyes. That's how you know they're Hitcharan. Here goes Peppermint. She's a weresnake, but she's part of the family line. I love her. All Hitcharans kind of have like their own specialty of what they like to steal. I'm still trying to figure that out with Peppermint, but one of the best Hitcharans, Mione Hitchara, her whole specialty was stealing clothes, really fancy clothes. I think with Peppermint, I think she steals artwork. You are not Peppermint. You are not a Hitcharan. What are you doing here, King Titania II? Well, I know what I need to fix. Here goes a concept sketch of Peppermint. Peppermint Hitchara. She is a she's a were snake, but her specific snake counterpart is the hognose snake, and she specifically is the moonstone morph. I could talk about hognose snakes all day. Love them. Silly little sketch of her, Peppermint. She's great. I think her story takes place during the 1980s, 1990s Beacon era. And then here's a Peppermint done by Rainy Noise. Love her. She's great. Silly little thief. But yeah, that's a quick little overview about the Hitcharans. The Hitcharans, again, they, family of thieves. They are said to have been blessed by a moon goddess, the goddess Hitchara herself. That's why their last name is Hitcharan, or that's why their last name is Hitchara, and they're known as the Hitcharans. But they're very, very prominent. They appear different Hacharns appear throughout my stories. Likewise, how the Aravans appear throughout the stories. I will end off by saying that the Hacharns and the Aravans, they kind of have like this family blood feud going on, because the Hacharns are like these notorious thieves, and the Aravans are these very strong, successful bounty hunters. The Aravans do specialize in hunting and taking down the Hacharns. So we kind of got that going on. But besides that, it looks like we finished up the Anvir lore in the world building folder. So next, I shall continue on with next video with the comic folder and go from there. So thank you so much for listening, being part of my journey, seeing where I am, and hopefully we can get to see where I go. It always means a lot to me. You're just being here, listening, supporting me. Again, if you do wish to support me further, my Ko-fi is in the description. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day.